Yeah, good morning and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. So we were discussing module 4. In module 4, we were discussing about short electric dipole. So we derived the general and far field expressions of short electric dipole. Then in yesterday's class, we tried and derived the radiation resistance of short electric dipole. So what we have done is, right, so a short electric dipole, right, or any antenna can be equivalently represented as its electrical circuit, right, using its electrical circuit, and the total power radiated by this antenna can be, right, modeled as the power dissipated across an equivalent radiation resistance, right. So if we give same excitation, so if we give same excitation, if the current is actually what RMS current is IRMS, that is I naught by root 2, right, where here we are giving I naught e power j omega t, where I naught is the peak value, right. So then we can represent the total power radiated as the power dissipated across this RR, that is I square RMS times RR. Also, we could find the power radiated by integrating the Poynting vector in the far field, right, over a closed sphere. So we equated that, then we got the answer, right. So if you remember, for end loaded, right, for end loaded case is what we have done in last case. For end loaded case or capacitive loaded case, if the antenna is like this and if I am representing current, right, so current is zero, current is positive and negative, right, if this axis is current, right, current will be, we can assume if it is an end loaded antenna, current distribution can be assumed to be uniform, right. So today when we discuss about practical thin linear antennas, you will get to know why this assumption, right. So this short dipole antenna, it is actually a hypothetical antenna. It doesn't exist in practice. I told initially itself we are studying it just to extend this idea to find the radiation characteristics of other practical thin linear antenna. So any other long antenna, we can assume it to be actually what consisting of many short dipoles connected in series. So okay, for end loaded case, we found the radiation resistance. How did we find the radiation resistance? We found using this, right. We found the total power is I naught square by 2 times RR, and using the power theorem, right, using the power theorem, we found the total power to be equal to, right, I'm not repeating that, but I just want you to write the result. Why? Because I should tell you what will happen if it is not end loaded. That's why we are just recollecting this result. We got, it was mu naught by epsilon times, so beta square I naught square, right, beta square I naught square L square divided by 12 pi, if I'm right. So we equated these two. So then what happened is I naught square got cancelled. So we found expression for RR, right. The expression for RR was, can anyone tell me what was the final expression for RR? Radiation resistance, it was 80 pi square times L by lambda the whole square, or 80 pi square is actually what, 790 times L by lambda the whole square. I even told it can be written as L by lambda can be written as actually what, L subscript lambda the whole square. This is L subscript lambda is nothing but what, L by lambda, or length in terms of number of wavelength, right. If it is a half wave dipole, L by lambda will be actually what, L lambda will be half, right. So we can write like that also. So we can write, at times in exam and all, they may ask you to show 790 L lambda the whole square. So this is for an end loaded case. This is for an end loaded case where we are assuming current distribution is uniform. Current is uniform, right, uniform with respect to Z, right, with respect to Z. But if this end loading is not there, the current distribution may not be uniform. Why? Because, right, why? Because I'll tell. If you have a transmission line like this and you just, right, kept it open, right, if you just kept it open, right, as it is actually what, AC. So maybe many students are still asking me, when you open circuit something, how can you make some current to flow through this, right? Can anyone give me that answer? Right. So normally what we have studied is if something is open circuited, current will be zero. Right. But how is it possible? I'm telling a transmission line is open circuited and current is flowing through it. Can anyone tell me? Can anyone give me an explanation? So if it's not happening, so what we have studied so far, it's actually what blunder that we'll have to discard it. What may be the reason? Anyone can give me answer? Sherwin?
It's the field, sir.
Yes, it's actually what if a capacitor can conduct, right? This also should be able to conduct current, right? So the actually what technical answer to that would be actually what the current say current is actually what current density, total current density, that is del cross H, right? Del cross H is actually what total current density. This is equal to sigma E plus dou D by dou T. Right, sigma E plus dou D by dou. This sigma E is actually what this is conduction current. This is what is happening if you in circuits and all, right? When it is actually what that is what is flowing, right? If there is a conductivity and if you apply some electric field to that, there will be conduction current sigma E. Right, that is what we assume normal current. That conduction current will be zero if it is open circuit for sure, right? Because if it is open circuit, right, this is actually what free space or vacuum or air or whatever, it is a perfect dielectric. Sigma will be zero, so the conduction current will be zero. But this dou D by dou T, that is called actually what displacement current. That is what makes a capacitor conduct, right? So that will be there. So field is there, right? Field is there. So how a electromagnetic wave is propagating? It's not through conduction current. It's not through conduction current. An electromagnetic wave is propagating in free space purely by means of actually what displacement current. So for a dielectric, for free space, if you write, this term will be zero. This is actually what one of the Maxwell's equation. If I'm not wrong, it is third Maxwell's equation in point form, right? So that is the answer. So actually what happens is here, if sigma E conduction current is there, then only there will be actually what energy will be confined in magnetic field. This is actually what related to electric field. So what happens is, so some energy is being propagated from left to right, right? Some energy is being propagated from left to right. So that energy will be actually what within electric and magnetic field, right? Or else voltage and current, right? So voltage and current, it's not actually the correct usage. It should be electric field and magnetic field. But what happens? What happens? So electric field is due to actually what? Electric field is present due to voltage or vice versa, right? And magnetic field is present due to current or vice versa, right? It's like actually what chicken and egg paradox, right? Both are coupled, interrelated, right? So what happens is when this C is an open circuit, current actually what the conduction current goes to zero. When conduction current goes to zero, obviously this magnetic field actually what will go to zero. Then what will happen? There is some energy which is propagating from left to right. So that energy has to be conserved. So what will happen is this electric field will actually what carry the burden of bearing additional energy. Whatever energy was there in this magnetic field, that will be actually what transferred to electric field. That is why you are telling when we have an open circuit, voltage is maximum. Why? Because electric field is maximum, right? And current is zero. Current is zero because magnetic field is zero there, right? So the current distribution will be, if you want to draw the current distribution, if it is actually what at this point, open circuited point, current will be zero, and as you move, right, current standing wave will be there. Current will vary sinusoidally, right? So at a distance of lambda by 4, you can find maximum. At a distance of lambda by 2, again it will repeat, right? So that is how the current distribution will be along a transmission line. So I hope now it's clear why an open circuited transmission line, you are telling the current is zero and the open circuited, and then as I move backward, it is actually what varying. Isn't it a nonsense? It's not, right? So it's all because of this displacement current, the very basic principle, which gives you explanation how a capacitor can conduct, right? Okay. So what happens is, if it's not end loaded, what happens? The current at the end has to be zero. So if an antenna, if a short dipole, it's nothing but what? A transmission line flared out, like this, right? If it is not end-loaded, current distribution, if I'm drawing, say, here in this axis, I'm drawing current distribution. This is actually what? Z-axis, and along this, I'm drawing current distribution. So current at Z-axis, right, current at the end has to be 0, and it will gradually increase. And similarly, at this end also has to be 0, it will gradually increase. And if you consider a very small actually what? If you consider a very small conductor, right, the current distribution will be almost linear. It will start at 0 and it will linearly increase. In fact, it's a part of sinusoid, right? It's a part of sinusoid. If you consider very small distance, it will look as if it's linear distribution, distribution, right? So, or it will be of the form y is equal to mx plus c. If you remember, when we discussed the effective height of an antenna, we discussed what if it is linear distribution, right? We found the average current end load. I'm not going to discuss that again, right? But what you have to keep in mind is, if it is not end loaded, there will be some non-uniform current distribution, which means current will be a function of z, right? Current will be a function of z. So in next topic we'll study, right? So normally, if it is a constant for short electric dipole, we studied it is actually what? I naught e power j omega t minus r by c, right? This is what we have learned for end loaded or capacitive loaded. This is what we have studied. But in next section, I'll discuss in detail, right? If it is not end loaded, this I will take the form I naught sine of 2 pi by lambda times, I'll explain how it comes. You don't have to actually what by heart or anything. 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 plus or minus Z, right, times e power j omega t minus r by c. You can actually what? You can use GeoGebra or MATLAB to visualize this, right? So this distribution says what I told now, right? So at the open circuited ends, the current will be 0, right? If antenna is of length L, I'm assuming it's kept along Z-axis with its center at origin. So the top point will be Z is equal to plus L by 2, and the bottom point will be Z is equal to minus L by 2. So at Z is equal to plus L by 2 and minus L by 2, the current will be 0. And as you move towards the center of the antenna, the current distribution will be actually what? Sinusoidal. And when you're practically designing an antenna, if this assumption has to hold good, what, right? The condition is the thickness. That's why we call it actually what? Thin linear antenna. The word thin has significance. The thickness should be, for this assumption to hold good, the thickness should be much less than lambda by 100, right? Where lambda is your operating wavelength. For instance, if you are designing a thin linear antenna or a half wave dipole antenna, right, which is to operate at 1 gigahertz, the corresponding wavelength, I think it would be 30 centimeter, right? 1 gigahertz, is it 30 centimeter? The corresponding wavelength, can anyone calculate and tell? C by F, 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 1 into 10 power 9. Yeah, it's 30 centimeter, right? So the thickness of this particular wire should be less than lambda by 100. That should be less than 0.3 centimeter. That is, it should be less than actually what? 3 millimeter, right? Then only I can tell the current distribution is sinusoidal. Otherwise, right, we can't treat it as a thin wire. That volume will come into picture. So that is something which you have to keep in mind, right? So if you remember whatever we have studied, right, all those were based on some assumptions. Those assumptions are really important, right? So you should know that. So when I say end loaded and without end loading, there is huge difference, right? And when thickness is large and when thickness is small, there is actually what? If thickness is large, we'll have to go for some other sort of analysis, right? We can't do this, right? That's what you have to keep in mind, right? So this will be the current distribution, and if it is very small, it will be linear. So I'm not actually stretching it out. So what total power we found out? You said, so if this is I naught e power j omega t, and this is radiation resistance, right? So in using method 1, what total power we found out? It will remain the same, right? It will remain the same. That will be equal to I naught square by 2 times RR, right? It will remain the same. But but what happens is for not end loaded without end loading, right? Not end loaded case, right? I'm just telling, right? Not end, why? Because when problem comes, they may either ask end loaded or not end loaded. So you have to be very careful. Mostly 90%, right? They used to ask with end loading, but at times they may ask with sinusoidal current distribution or with linear current distribution. So then you have to consider that, right? The expression for radiation resistance will change. That's what we are going to see now. So in this case, right, the total power radiated by the antenna when we are calculating using the equivalent electric circuit, equation number 1 of our derivation, it remains the same. But we'll see what happens to the total power radiated using power theorem, right? Power theorem. So there is some change. Mode of H5, right? Mode of H5, what we have written was, can anyone tell me what was mode of H5 we had written? Please, I need help. Right. What was mode of H5? Was it omega I naught L sine theta, omega L naught I naught L sine theta divided by 4 pi CR. If you remember, how did we derive this magnetic field? Right. How did we derive this magnetic field? If you remember, right, that's why, right, these derivations you have to, right. So wherever I told some assumptions, those are really important, right? So we kept the antenna along z-axis. I considered a very small length along this, and due to the small length dz, we have written the vector magnetic potential dA. We have written the vector magnetic potential dA. Then we integrated the vector magnetic potential from z equal to minus L by 2 to plus L by 2. Z equal to minus L by 2 to plus L by 2 of this dA. So while doing that, right, we were assuming in end-loaded case, current along the length is uniform or current is independent of Z. So there was a current term inside this, right? There was a I within square bracket, right, retarded current. We have taken it out conveniently. Why? Because it's end-loaded and current has to be uniform. But in this case, right, if it is not end-loaded, current is not uniform. Current is a function of Z. So we can't take out that current from within that integral with respect to Z. Right. You don't have to go back and do that. Right. You don't have to go back and do that. But understand where this difference comes. Right. I want you to appreciate where the difference comes. It's not actually what simply in textbook they have given directly for a non-end-loaded case. It is instead of I naught, it will be I average. Right. Instead of I naught, it will be I average. Right. So how that comes is the difference comes here. Difference comes in the expression for H5. So this expression is not valid if it is not end loaded, right? So for end loaded, H5 will become, for end loaded, mode of H5 will become omega I average. This I average is nothing but what? 1 by L integral minus L by 2 to L by 2 I of Z dz. You have to what? Integrate the current distribution along the length over the length, right? And divide it with total length. It's actually what? Current per unit length. Current, it's not right. Current per I average will be actually what? If like just like how you take average of marks. So if for a particular subject, students are scoring different marks, right? How to find average? You add everything and divide with total number of students. So that we can tell, instead of actually different students scoring different marks, right? When I think in terms of total marks scored, I can tell each student scored this average mark, right? So like that is actually the average current. So you are integrating the current. It's actually what you are summing up the total current and you are dividing it with the total length. That will give you I average, right? So this H5 will become omega average L theta divided by this H5 will become omega I L sine theta divided by 4 pi CR. And what will be the effect of this? The effect of this is nothing but what? When we find total power by Poynting theorem, right? Power theorem. When we find total power by power theorem, right? That is by integral say theta from 0 to pi, 5 from 0 to 2 pi, SR times R square sine theta d theta, d phi. If you do this, the final result which we will get is, right, final result which we will get is, it will be only slight change, root of mu by epsilon, right? You know this root of mu by epsilon for free space is 120 pi or intrinsic impedance. But I would like to write the general one, and at the end only from there we'll deviate. We'll apply different cases, right? So root of mu by epsilon, then beta square. Just see what is the difference. Beta square, instead of I naught square, it becomes actually what? I average square. I naught is not equal to I average. I naught is the maximum value, right? I average is the average value, right? So when end loaded, the current was same and maximum throughout. When it is not end loaded, current distribution, we are assuming it is linear. It can be linear, or can it be any distribution, right? If you integrate current over the length and divide it by L, you will get I average, whatever be the distribution. It can be linear or sinusoidal or whatever. But for very short electric dipole, what you have to keep in mind is it will be mostly linear. Why? Because we are considering a very small length. So as very small part of sinusoidal wave, right, that will be linear. So beta square I average square, right? Beta square I average square times L square divided by 12 pi. So this will be the case, right? So this is equation number 2 in end loaded case. So what is the difference now? So earlier that I naught and I naught were getting cancelled. So now I have to equate. Okay, I naught square by 2 times RR to root of mu by epsilon naught, beta square I average square L square divided by 12 pi. So what happens now? This I naught and I naught will not get cancelled. So this is actually what I naught, it is actually what I average. So that term will be there. So what happens is, if you solve this for RR, what you will get is RR will be equal to, there will 790 L by lambda the whole square. This was there. Along with this, we have an additional term that is actually what? I average by I naught the whole square. So this is the case for an short dipole without end loading. Radiation resistance of short dipole without end loading, right? If you want to know how to find average current for any given distribution, please watch the video on effective height when we discuss. Even the expression for effective height also had this I average by I naught term, right? So that's it all has to do with the current distribution, right? So this is the case, right? So you can expect actually what, either derivation or problem. Mostly they used to ask for the end loaded case. Why? Because that is of importance to us. You will understand why did we consider such capacitor discs on top and same current distribution. What is the significance of that? You will understand that when I'll be discussing this thin linear antenna. Next topic which I'm going to discuss is actually what? Far field analysis of thin linear antenna. Then you will understand, right? Why did we consider capacitive loading? So, okay, I would like to pause here for some time and would like to ask, did you understand this? Is it clear? What is the difference between? Yeah, please do type in. Somewhat did you understand? At least if you didn't understand the aspect of radiation resistance, right? The current distribution, how it will differ from end loaded and without end loaded case. Did anyone understand at least? Right? Okay, yeah. So then others? Okay, yeah. Some are telling completely understood. Some are telling it's actually what? Okay, fine. So maybe if you read it once again, you will understand, or else you can watch this video once again. I hope I didn't miss any actually what steps in between. But of course, we didn't derive. I didn't actually go and derive the magnetic field expression without unloading case. Why? Because we can use our actually what logic. We can. I told you where it deviated. Right? Where did it deviate? Right? That aspect I told. That would be more than sufficient for you. Right? So you can expect problems or derivation from this part. Right? And this L by this is applicable only for short dipole, right? You can't find out the radiation resistance of a lambda by 2 dipole, half wave dipole using this expression. It will give you erroneous answer for sure. Why? Because that assumption which we derive this expression based on, right? It won't satisfy if the antenna length is comparable to lambda. So that is something which you have to keep in mind. And if you ask me, can you realize a short dipole in practice? No, you can't realize, right? You can't realize it in practice. Why we are studying this is our interest is practical thin linear antennas. To analyze practical thin linear antennas, we want this. So that's what. So next we'll go to practical thin linear antennas, right? So we'll go to thin linear antennas, and in thin linear antennas we have to study only far field distribution. No general field expression is required as per your syllabus, right? And in practice, actually, what we are not interested in near field, right? We are using antennas. We have to transmit power to very long distance. Of course, the receiver will be located in far field, so we don't have to bother about the near field at all, right? But anyhow, so as just to analyze, right, the short electric dipole case, we did that, right? But for thin linear antenna, we have to study only about far field, thin linear antenna field analysis. So we are interested only in far field analysis, okay, right? So in this topic, we'll be studying the current distribution. That's the first topic which we'll be studying is current distribution. We have to see, and why? Because now you might have understood the field which we get at some faraway point. It depends upon the current distribution along the length of antenna. So if an antenna is given, say if you are asked to draw the current distribution along a lambda by 2 antenna, or 5 lambda by 4 antenna, or 3 lambda by 2 antenna, right? You should be able to draw it, right? You should be able to represent it mathematically, so that, right, whatever this magnetic field and electric field expression is there for short electric dipole, you can substitute it there, right? Instead of I naught e power j omega t, you have to substitute, right, I as, so wherever in short electric dipole, right, in short electric dipole, wherever we have used I to be equal to, right, I to be equal to I naught e power j omega t minus r by c, what you will have to do is for thin linear antennas, you have to replace it with I is equal to I naught sine, it becomes a function of z, right? If you place your antenna along z axis with center at origin. So I repeat that. Why? Because whatever I am writing here, it is based on that placement of antenna, placing antenna along z axis and center at origin, right? So that's why I'm repeating it again and again and again, right? If if antenna is placed along y axis, right, or if origin or antenna is placed along z axis with its bottommost point at origin, the analysis will change, right? You should be able to deal with that. That's why I'm emphasizing those assumptions, right? So I naught sine, I naught sine 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 plus or minus z times e power j omega t minus r by c. This e power j omega t minus r by c should be there. Why? Because we should accommodate the aspect of retardation time or propagation time. That's why in all the sources, right, we instead of writing it as actual source, we'll write it as retarded source. Why? Because the effect due to the cause will happen only after some time r by c at a distance, right? If the velocity is c, the effect will happen, or effect will take a time r by c to propagate from antenna to that point, right? So in order to accommodate that, we are using, so current distribution of thin linear antennas we'll study, and then we don't have to derive, right? We don't have to derive as such, but I'll tell you how the procedure. I'll tell you. If you want, you can try out and see, right? I'll tell you the procedure. So by integrating, by integrating the field expression of short dipole. So for short dipole in far field, we have E theta and H phi. So if you integrate the field expression, right, which will be a function of z from minus L by 2 to plus L by 2, you will get the result which I'll be discussing later, right? Okay, so current distribution and far field, Far field analysis. Far field analysis. This is what we are going to study. Right. So today I'll discuss only current distribution. What I'll teach you today is I'll teach you how can we represent this current distribution like this, right? Where this term sine of 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 plus or minus Z, that is actually called form factor, right? That is actually called form factor of this current distribution, right? Form factor. So what actually is that? So I'll teach you that. Then what I'll teach you is I'll teach you how to we'll just simulate it in GeoGebra and see whether this is valid, right? So it's true what we have learned, right? So that's what our agenda is today, right? So I told if it's any other antenna, right? If it's any other antenna. So before we start with an antenna, again I'll show you a transmission line. So the voltage, the current distribution will be, right? Current distribution will be, so if I draw the current distribution, right? Current will be maximum, current will be minimum at the end, right? And as you move towards, current will actually change. And what will happen is, what you can see is every lambda by 2 length, right? Current will alternate its actually polarity, right? Direction, right? Which means if you have a transmission line which is open circuited, the last lambda by 2 length, if current is actually flowing from left to right, in the next lambda by 2 length, current will be flowing from right to left, right? Then again in next lambda by 2, it will be flowing from left to right. So that's why it's actually what I've shown it as positive and negative half cycle, right? Positive and negative half cycle. It will alternate between every lambda by 2 segment, right? So then if last lambda by 2 segment, if it is negative, the previous one it will be positive, negative, positive, like it will alternate. That is something which you have to mind. So are you okay with this? Right. So if it is an open circuited transmission line, at the end current will be 0, voltage will be maximum. Are you okay with this? Right. Are you accept this and proceed for further discussion? That is my question. Right. Because if you are not able to appreciate this concept, then no point, right? No point. Maybe simply it will be like simply by hearting, right? Okay, you're telling yes. So I'm happy to know that you are able to accept this, right? So if you have any doubt, you can ask, right? You can interrupt me in between and ask, right? So okay. So with that idea in mind, now what we can do is we can just straight away, right? Only this idea you want, right? Nothing else you want. So if it is a lambda by 2 antenna, so I'll just right, mark the distance here. So this is distance. This distance is 0 from load end. This is lambda by 4, right? This is lambda by 2. This is 3 lambda by 4, and this is lambda, right? And this is actually lambda plus lambda by 2. So I think it will be 5 lambda by 4, right? It will be 5 lambda by 4, and so on and so forth. This is the distance. So what you are doing is you are just trying to actually this transmission line, you are just actually flaring it out, right? You are just flaring out the transmission line. So the current distribution will be, right? I'll just draw here, right? If it is a lambda by 4 antenna, right? If it is a lambda by 4 antenna of length lambda by 4, which means if you keep it along z-axis, in all the cases I am assuming we are placing antenna along z-axis with center at origin, right? So the topmost point will be lambda by 8, and bottommost point again will be actually minus lambda by 8. Right? I'm just writing it as actually plus and minus lambda by 8, right? And what you have to assume is, right, if you have a transmission line like this, current is flowing like this. Current is flowing like this. Right? Sorry, current is flowing like this. Right. So if you flare it, if it is open circuited, again current is flowing like this. Right. Current is flowing like this. So if you flare it and open, you can see in topmost current is flowing from actually it was flowing from left to right, right. So if you flare it open and keep it upwards, it will flow from bottom to top, right? And similarly here as well, current will flow. Current is flowing from actually in this direction, right? So from end towards the source, right? So here again current will flow in same direction. Right, here again current will flow in same, current direction will be same. Current direction will be same. So if, right, direction of current, so polarity of current means actually direction of current. So I should not use polarity of current. Normally I use polarity for voltage, right? But current direction. So current direction will be from bottom to top or along positive Z, both in the upper and lower part in this case. That is something which I want you to understand. So what will be the current distribution? So you have to consider only length lambda by 8. So I have to start from here, right? I have to take till lambda by 8. So this is lambda by 8. So it will start from 0 and it will go till here, right? So the current distribution, right? So along this I'll be doing current distribution, okay? So this is length, and along this x-axis, right, y-axis or x-axis, that will be current distribution. So current distribution, maybe I should take, okay, I'll use same this color itself, right? Please don't get confused. It will start and it will go to some maximum value. It will start and go to maximum value, right? So till here, this much part, right? That is 0 to lambda by 8. So at the end, it will be 0, and by the time it travels a distance lambda by 8, this distance is actually what, lambda by 8, this distance again is lambda by 8. It will reach some value, this value it will reach, right? So this is how we can draw. And similarly, how can you, so this is actually what, a lambda by 4 antenna, quarter wave dipole, lambda by 4 antenna, right? So then if it is a lambda by 2 antenna, if it is a half wave dipole, what will be the current distribution, right? Half wave dipole, you should consider this much length, right? You should consider this much length. So here this much will be actually what, lambda by 4, and this much again will be lambda by 4. So the total length is actually what, lambda by 2. So this is z equal to 0. So lambda by 4, if you travel, you can see lambda by 4, if you travel, what happens? Current starts from 0 and reaches maximum by it, right? Travels, why we travel a distance lambda by 4 along a transmission line, right? So please remember, right, voltage standing wave, right? The voltage standing wave will repeat every lambda by 2, and the separation between two maxima is lambda by 2, and separation between a minima and maxima, it is, what was separation between minima and maxima? You have studied it, it is lambda by 4. It is related everywhere. Starting from first module, right, till here, it's related. That's why, right, knowing transmission line basics, it's very important for you to appreciate the antenna concept. So what happens is, right, the current starts from 0 and it goes to maximum, right? Starts from 0, it goes to maximum. So this is how the current distribution will be, right? So this is current, it goes to I0, right? It goes to I0 here. And if it is say a full wave antenna, right? If this length is lambda, I'm not drawing it to the scale, right? But what I'm assuming is I'm giving same frequency, right? I'm exciting all the antennas using same frequency excitation. Lambda is same or F is same, right? But I'm not drawing it to the scale. But when we see the simulation, you will be able to appreciate it, right? So for a lambda antenna, so here this much top part will be lambda by 2, bottom part will be actually what? Lambda by 2. So what will happen if you consider distance lambda by 2? What will happen? This is lambda by 2. It will start from 0, go to maximum, again reduce to 0. So the current distribution will be like this. The current distribution will be like this, right? 4. So this is lambda by 2 antenna. This is lambda antenna. If the antenna is greater than lambda, what will happen? If the antenna is greater than lambda, for instance, if it is actually what? 3 lambda by 4 antenna, right? If it is 3 lambda by 4 antenna, right, what will happen is, right, what is half of 3 lambda by 4? It is actually what? 3 times lambda by 4, right? So there should be 1 lambda by 4, another lambda by 4, and half of lambda by 4 and another lambda. So it will be actually what? Lambda by 4 plus, on top there will be actually what? Lambda by 4 plus lambda by 8, and on bottom again we have lambda by 4 plus lambda by 8. So within a lambda by 4, what happens is, it's not 3 lambda by 4. Okay, yeah, it's, oh, sorry, yeah, so it should be 5. I should have taken 5 lambda by 4, right? If the length is 3 lambda by 4, it's actually what? Less than lambda. It should be 5 lambda by 4, excuse me. So there will be, if it is length is 5 lambda by 4, right? I have to make it into half. 5 lambda by 4, right? On top there should be actually what? Half the length. Bottom there should be half the length. So that will be 5 lambda by 4. It will be actually what? 2 times lambda by 4 on top and 2 times lambda by 4 on bottom. Then remaining actually what? 1 lambda by 4 is there. So I'm giving lambda by 8 on top and lambda by 8 on bottom. So it will be actually what? Twice lambda by 4. That is lambda by 2 plus lambda by 8. And bottom again lambda by 2 plus lambda by 8. Right. So the current distribution will be, you can see, it will reach. So this is like, suppose this is lambda by 2. This much distance is lambda by 2 and this is lambda by 8. And again, this is lambda by 2 and lambda by 8. So you should start with a 0 at the end. No other go with that. So you should start with a 0 at the end. And by the time you cover lambda by 2, it will again reach back 0. Then it will change its polarity, right? It will change its polarity. So it will be like this. And again, here again, it will go to maximum, it will change its polarity. So this is how the distribution will be, right? This is how the distribution will be. And this distribution, right? This distribution, right? So for this, one complete cycle is actually what? One complete cycle is lambda, right? The length which takes the current to change its phase by 360 degree or 2 pi, it is equal to lambda, right? For lambda by 2, the phase will change by 180 degree. For lambda by 4, phase will change by 90 degree, right? So I can write the current distribution I of z, right? I can write the current distribution I of z, right? Or retarded I of z, or I'll be writing only as I like this, right? Current distribution I'll be writing like this. It is I naught is the peak value, right? And it is a sinusoidal function, sine of 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 plus or minus z, right? L by 2 plus or minus z times e power j omega t minus r by c. So if you take a snapshot, right, at time t equal to 0, right, whatever, if you, right, if you are interested only in, at any given time t, if you are interested only in current distribution along the length, right, you can just, for the time being, we can neglect this. So this term alone is actually what? This term alone, sine of 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 plus or minus z alone is called actually form factor. This term alone is called form factor. So what? Right. So I'll tell this 2 pi by lambda is beta. 2 pi by lambda is nothing but what? Beta. Right. So how we got this expression? So suppose this is z-axis. Suppose this is z-axis. If it is sine beta z, right? If I plot sine of beta z or sine of 2 pi by lambda times z, what I'll get? So it should start. Right. It should start from here. Z is equal to 0, and it's a sinusoidal function. So it will complete one cycle within a distance of actually what? Lambda. This is the meaning 2 pi by lambda times z. If it is sine z, right, its frequency will be, it will complete 2 pi phase shift within actually what? 2 pi radian, right? When z is equal to 2 pi, it will actually what? Complete one complete cycle. But if it is 2 pi by lambda times z, it will complete one complete phase rotation, right? A complete cycle with an amount actually what? Lambda, right? So this is sine 2 pi by z. So what will be sine of, I'm replacing z with actually what? Z plus L by 2 now. Sine of 2 pi by lambda times, I'm replacing z with z plus L by 2. If I'm replacing z with z plus L by 2, how this will change? I'm just helping you to, you might have studied this in your signals and system, time shifting of signal and all, but I'm just, right, helping you to understand this, right? So if you replace z with z plus L by lambda, z plus something, what will happen? It is right shift or left shift? It will shift left, right? It will shift left. I'll draw here, right? It will shift left by an amount actually what? L by 2. So it will shift left by an amount L by 2, right? So this is sine of 2 pi by lambda times z plus L by 2, right? Z plus L by 2. Now, what if I replace it with z with minus z, right? What if I replace with z with minus z? Say this is f of z. If this is f of z, what if I replace z with minus z? It's actually what? Reflection with respect to t f z equal to 0, right? I'll get a mirror image of this, right? If I replace z with minus z, that is sine of 2 pi by lambda times minus z plus L by 2 minus z plus L by 2. This will give me the mirror image of this, right? Which means you have to reverse it. So it will be like this. It will be like this. So this is, what is this? Right. And in this expression which I mentioned, in your textbook, they have told you should take plus for z less than 0 and you should take minus for z greater than 0. Another way of writing this is 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 minus mod of z, right? So this is the exact mathematical way of writing. If you substitute z with mod of z, what will happen? If z is minus, it will be actually what replaced with minus z. If z is plus, it will be replaced with plus z. So when z is negative, it will replace it with actually what? Minus z. So this becomes L by 2 plus z. And when z is positive, it will be replaced with z plus z itself. So it will be L by 2 minus z. So maybe I'll wind up here. It's already time, right? You can try simulating this. Maybe in GeoGebra, you can try simulating this expression, right? This expression, that is I naught sine 2 pi by lambda times L by 2 minus of mod z, right? You can simulate it in GeoGebra. I request at least some of you to try this, right? So that I'll give you time to actually share your screen and you can explain, right? We'll just discuss on this. So I'll wind up here. Sorry, I took 1 minute extra, right? But I started 5 minutes late, right? So I think it won't be a problem, right? Okay, I'll wind up here. So I hope, so it's sine 2 pi by lambda. I told you step by step, how did we get that, right? When we see the simulation, right, it will be exactly same as what current distribution I have drawn. This equation, you will know actually what it can represent, that current distribution which I have drawn. So this is very, very important, right? Very, very important, right? Yeah, that's it. That's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can stay back and ask. Otherwise, you can leave, right? So please do let me know whether you understood this or not. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the level of understanding? How much you were able to appreciate this? Right. Please type in and after that you can leave. Yeah, please. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of understanding, you think? Right. Okay, 7. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can leave. So there was actually one magic trick, right? One magic trick. Those who want to listen to this can stay back and listen, right? That magic trick was, you will be asked to, it was a part of TV show, right? It was a part of TV show. You will be asked